Hi, my name is Umberly Gonzalez, and I play Kay Vess in Star Wars Outlaws. Kay Vess is a thief. She's a scoundrel. She's really good at sneaking around. You know, she's charming and she'll talk to you, but she's already taking all your things. She isn't perfect at it, but she always seems to get away with it.
Kay really finds herself in a bit of a jam. You know, she's got a bounty on her back and is trying to find work. That's when she starts to really realize, I kind of like this underworld business. I kind of like this world, and she's trying to thrive on it.
She has to survive because nobody else will save her unless it's her. The only person that she has is her companion, Nyx. They're not even human, but that is the closest thing she has to feeling a part of something in the world.
I also think that Nyx, in a lot of ways, is kind of an extension of Kay, both in a gameplay sense or a story sense, you know. In gameplay, she allows Kay to do things she never thought possible. And in the story, it's also a way for Kay to kind of sense when something's off or see an opportunity or that kind of thing. Really, they're completely connected.
I love that relationship. I'm so excited for people to meet Nyx because they're gonna fall in love with him too.
Outlaws takes place right between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, so it's the civil war between the rebellion and the Empire. That has actually created this pocket of opportunity for syndicates and criminal organizations to rise up in that space. We've got the Pikes, we've got the Hutts, we've got a new syndicate that we've crafted for this game called the Ashiga Clan. And one of the phrases we always held on to was this notion of you live and die by your reputation. So it's really exciting for Kay and hopefully for players.
She's so fearless. You'll see her just go for it, and there's no stopping her, even when there's danger involved. Even when there's fear underneath it, she'll never let you see it. Not really.
For a scoundrel story, you know, you really have to ask yourself, when is enough enough? How far is Kay willing to go to land that big score? And those are questions she's going to tackle through the whole story. We worked with Lucasfilm every step of the way in crafting the story, and they were an invaluable partner in helping us create and craft this thing. They were really embracing us with open arms in terms of, hey, we want to focus on the underworld, we want to focus on an outlaw navigating through that space, but we're sort of there to help guide and point out, like, hey, here's an opportunity you might not have looked at, or there's a character you might want to consider. So really, it was a partnership through and through.
I feel like this is one of the biggest, if not the biggest franchise of our lifetime. The themes, everything has just been a part of our world. And for me and for the world of Star Wars, I know that people are gonna love this game, not just for how amazing the gameplay is, but the story itself, to see a young girl become a woman and become an outlaw.
What, are you worried?
No.
Umberly's energy, her humor, her wit, all of that really has kind of helped inform the character. She has a way of jumping between that matinee action, high stakes tone to shifting to really intimate, really personal performances that make you connect to Kay.
Getting to bring my own heart and then mix it in with that confidence and her toughness and her charm and wit, it's really fun. It makes her very endearing, even though she's a very tough person.
You won't make it off to Shara alive. Maybe.
And yeah, it kind of feels like she was always meant to be Kay. She informs it in every way.
I love bringing a character like this to life, and it's an honor, honestly, to be a part of this world. It's definitely a dream come true, and I'm still doing it, so literally about to hop and do a scene right now. So it's all just exciting, and I feel now I'm really locked into the character. The team is amazing, and I feel very supported, and I'm happy that they found me, because I feel like I was meant to play this role. Make sure to catch me alongside with some developers and cast members at Comic-Con International this July in San Diego.
It's been fantastic seeing the response on Nyx and ND5. Everyone's so excited to just share more and show really who these characters are and what actual stories they will go through.
Star Wars is very much a story about friendship and family. Kay was going to need a companion to help guide her through the underworld.
Nix is a new creature. He's called a Merkle. We designed him here at Massive in close collaboration with Lucasfilm Games.
We always lead with story, and so a lot of Nix's arc and the different experiences he and Kay have influence what he looks like.
He's from this unnamed jungle planet, so he needed to have some sort of tough side to him. You know, he has a lot of skills that were based on, for example, a pangolin.
It is definitely a predator. He's ferocious.
But he also has a soft side, and he really needed that. So he also has very soft fur on his belly. You can give him a belly rub. We really wanted Nix to be able to communicate, and for that we added his ears, based on the axolotl. But he actually uses it a lot to be very expressive.
You'd be surprised the range you can cover in terms of Nix's squeaks, and we'd actually write to, you know, this is an angry squeak, this is a curious squeak, this is an inquisitive squeak.
I would start by making some sounds, and they'd say yes, more of that, less of that, until we kind of clarified it right into something that locks into just the perfect sound for this little guy. And in a lot of cases, it's less is more. That like a dog or something where it's not always talking, but it's always thinking and it's always listening. That tracks back to my dog Zira. I think I drew upon her as inspiration for the tone of Nix.
What the team was very passionate about as well was to take inspiration from their own pets. And that really shows in the design as well, the way that his animations and the way he moves throughout the world.
We had a puppeteer with an actual puppet on set at mocap. So he had a presence on set with Umberly as Kay. It worked very well.
Having that puppet helped so much with the performance of the actors that when we translate it into CG, it feels like they really interact with that character. We rely on Nix for conveying some of Kay's unspoken emotions.
She doesn't feel as alone, and she feels validated and reassured through her companion, through her family. It's almost codependent, but it's a symbiotic relationship. They give each other what they need.
Camille, the puppeteer, was fantastic. She made this whole puppet, it was great, and people really connected to it. So we would take that 3D data, then the animators, Montpellier and Massive, would animate on top of that.
Nix was created by so many different departments, and the animation department added so much to him, but definitely also D. Bradley Baker, who is voicing Nix. He added this whole layer to Nix as well. He really reminds me of my pet.
We think that people are going to really connect with these two best friends who are trying to survive in the galaxy together. And we're hoping that they welcome them into their hearts just like some of the other Star Wars characters.
Everything's gonna be all right, Nix. Hey, Andy.
It speaks to the beauty of Star Wars, right? You take something that is so simple, like a beat-up coat, and then you throw it onto something extraordinary, like a droid, and you get something completely new and exciting.
He has a trench coat, he's covering up his battle scars, because he's a BX commando from the Clone Wars era.
But eventually the Clone Wars ended, and he ended up, getting deeply involved in the underworld, working as an enforcer droid.
And then from that time period, from where the Clone Wars ended to when he meets Kay, that's really a mystery that's going to be unveiled for players.
Donka's a broker, not a friend.
What motivates ND5 is his duty.
She can't be trusted.
But beyond that, it would be redemption, freedom, and a search for purpose.
We've got a welcoming committee.
He's been assigned to watch over her, and at the start, she really doesn't like that because she doesn't need a babysitter.
I'm guessing you don't work in a team all that much.
It is not my preference.
Yeah, you and me both.
Slowly, as their relationship progresses, he starts to care for Kay. As much as a droid can care for a human, she sees it as, he shows up, he comes through, and that's something that Kay hasn't always had.
I think he's like her confidant. Ultimately, they have great chemistry, probably much to his dismay. Ultimately, they become friends.
Hiding some of those telltale features and some of the scars of battle with the trench coat was something that the art team really gravitated towards.
It tells a story of ND5. There's so much detail in it. There's like small damage and small wear and tear. There's some dirt here and there. We really wanted to show that he's been wearing this jacket for a long time, and it does have a meaning to him. And we put a lot of effort into the details of it.
Doing mocap as a droid is difficult. You have to use the voice and the body only to express yourself. but you're a droid. So you can't be very expressive with your voice, and you can't be very expressive with your body. So it was, there was a lot of fine-tuning in the process, but I think we found a comfortable balance, and we found some personality.
He did a fantastic job of really bringing that character to life in a very grounded, realistic way, given that he is this big, heavy, old droid. Then the animators would tone down the humanness of it, so it feels more droid-like.
I said, run!
He's got to learn how to deliver his lines without any noticeable breathing. We tend to breathe on the end of lines.
So, where do we go next?
And then within all of that, he has to act, right? He has to be this character.
What does a petty criminal from Canto Bight know about droids?
No, he knows all kinds of things.
It's a constant challenge, but it is a lot of fun.
As soon as we met in person, we had instant, great banter. We joke around a lot. We care for each other. That definitely shows on screen and in the game. They need to have a special bond.
And I think the relationship between he and Kay, it's powerful.
Hey, Andy.
Hi, Kay.
So it's very easy to bring that to life.
Working on a Star Wars game is a dream come true.
I've had all of the toys, and it's wild to go from making these little stories on the carpet to actually build a narrative in the Star Wars galaxy.
Massive Entertainment is the perfect choice to build an open-world Star Wars game because it is inherent to their DNA as a studio to deliver on incredible open-world experiences.
Massive Entertainment are master storytellers for open-world games. This is going to be a fresh experience for Star Wars fans everywhere.
Immediately, I had that in my head, all the possibilities of where do we want to go, what can we bring to Star Wars that has not been seen before.
Lucasfilm Games suggested that the perfect era to set Outlaws would be between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
What's great about that point on the timeline is this is a moment where the civil war between the Empire and the Rebellion is at its height. And this creates an environment across the galaxy where Outlaws can thrive.
That's the world that Kay is stepping into, and she sees the opportunity just like anybody else.
We will see some really cool syndicates, both from existing lore and newly created for the game.
When you play Star Wars Outlaws, you get a chance to discover what the underworld is like and live through those experiences.
The stakes are definitely very high for Kay's journey through the underworld, but she learns, she adapts, she sneaks around, and she finds herself in very important spaces with very powerful people.
Building the world of Star Wars Outlaws, first thing we had to do was think of places where outlaws thrive. These hubs of scum and villainy.
The most exciting thing is being able to go back to iconic locations that people know and love, but then diving into the Lucasfilm archives and really bringing them alive in a new but very genuine way.
It's not just about recreating Tatooine as you know it. Going back to the classic sources of spaghetti westerns, we try to recreate an authentic mood and feel as we build new points of interest to follow the already established history.
And there is a new location that we collaborated with Massive Entertainment on called Toshara. And this has been built from the ground up with the scoundrel fantasy at its beating heart.
Hang on!
Our goal is that you feel like you're stepping into Star Wars. And that means going back to those Macquarie concepts, going back to Joe Johnston's storyboards, Phil Tippett's creature designs, and creating a lived-in galaxy.
We're trying to create a world that feels alive and bustling with opportunity, that also is very grounded. And we're getting inspiration from the African savannah. But we still want to add the alien element. And that is what makes it feel like Star Wars.
We want to give Toshara some elements that make it really stand out in the Star Wars galaxy. So there are windswept plains, veins of amberine, and there's a vibrant city called Mirogana that's built into a huge rock that's been carved out by the wind that's ever present on Tashara.
One thing that we need to always keep in mind is there's always a connection between the biome and what grows there, what lives there, like the flora, fauna, and the culture of the people who inhabit the place. From how the plants pollinate, or how vegetation and local resources are used in local clothing and buildings, to even how the locals have adopted wind into their way of life. We have created everything with an authentic approach, so players will experience all these places like someone who actually is there.
We made it, Nix.
Working with Massive, we were able to really build out an authentic Star Wars world where you can travel, explore, and discover in a way that we really haven't been able to experience in modern Star Wars gaming.
The high-stakes scoundrel lifestyle and the open world promise allowed us to create a game within Star Wars that had never been done before. Not just exploring cities, but also getting onto your speeder and race across stunning wilderness. Then jump into your ship, the Trailblazer, and go on an incredible adventure.
We've only scratched the surface of what Star Wars Outlaws has to offer. There is so much more that you will get to embody and use and play when you become Kay Vess.
Players are gonna love Star Wars Outlaws. It's gonna be exciting. It's very adventurous, and that's what makes it Star Wars. So I'm very excited to share that.
Star Wars Outlaws is about the thriving underworld. Thieves, scoundrels, syndicates, the people who profit when the Empire isn't looking. The galaxy is full of opportunity for those who are willing to risk it all to take it.
Within Outlaws, you're going to have a lot of freedom as a player. The main story is the core of the experience, but surrounding it is this vast open world where you decide where to go, what to do next, which syndicates to side with, really rolling with the punches and finding your way.
Hold on, Nix!
We've seen that story of Empire versus Rebellion. And what was interesting to us was, what's the perspective on the ground?
I know, buddy. Just give me a minute.
So that was really the genesis of Kay Vess, this person that really is just trying to survive in the midst of this galactic war.
Let's get you some food.
Kay is from Canto Bight, but specifically the Workers' District.
You're local. Yeah, but I never got to see it like this.
On Canto Bight, Kay really became a skilled thief alongside Nix. She was in her element.
Nice lift, Nix.
The moment that she enters the underworld for the first time, she realizes she is a small fish in a very big galactic pond. But at the same time, she has something to offer.
Look at that.
Things like breaking in, stealing, slicing computer terminals, lockpicking, sabotaging, escaping is all really at the heart of the experience.
Kay sees the galaxy is rigged against people like her. When that's the case, it's very hard to trust others.
Who are you?
Kay and Nix may not trust anybody else, but now they're being asked to trust someone new so that they can pull off the biggest heist the galaxy has ever seen. ND5 is a BX commando droid. These were the elite fighting forces for the Separatists during the Clone Wars. And ND5 finds himself carrying the scars from that battle, but wondering what is it he's supposed to be today. And that's how we meet him in Star Wars Outlaws.
I'm just a battle droid. Infiltrate and terminate. Nothing else.
ND5 is a veteran in the underworld. He's been around for so many years, so he understands how the syndicates work and how the Empire works, but he's lacking an awareness of humans, and that's where Kay Vess can complement him.
I don't trust anyone.
Not even me.
Kay and ND5, they're gonna have to learn to trust one another if they're going to overcome one of the most dangerous criminal overlords in the galaxy.
Star Wars definitely has some of the most iconic villains, and at first, I'll admit it, it's daunting. I think most important of all, it really came down to Kay. Who is a counterpoint to Kay?
Sliro is everything Kay isn't. He's rich, He knows what he wants, and he has an army behind him.
His character, his personality, his backstory influence how he presents himself.
It's a golden age for the underworld.
We're getting an antagonist that is really giving us a window into how the underworld works and just how ruthless, just how dangerous the underworld is.
Slero runs the most lethal syndicate I've ever seen, and he wants you gone.
Zarek Besh have taken the galaxy by storm, and they're really making the other syndicates take notice.
So in their design, we really got a lot of inspiration out of mercenaries. They have access to the best equipment. You don't want to be in their path.
If you enter the underworld of Star Wars, you have to do justice to the syndicates.
In bringing the Hutt Cartel or the Pikes or the Crimson Dawn to life in a game, we need to work together with Massive to flesh them out, their outfits, their blasters, what their hideouts might look like. We've brought every one of those details to life in a way we've never done before.
Star Wars Outlaws is about Kay facing off against some of the most notorious criminal syndicates in the galaxy. And one of those syndicates is Crimson Dawn, led by Kira.
And if we want freedom, we have to be prepared to make some tough choices.
Lady Kira, she's very elegant, she's very stylish, but very much in the shadows. And we try to use that look for the design of the Crimson Dawn.
You want to be authentic to the syndicates that fans may have seen before, but also you want to introduce new syndicates. The Ashiga clan are of the Melito species that is very hierarchical. This is a clan that really works for the collective of the Hive. And they are based on the ice planet of Kijimi.
Kijimi has a lot of Japanese influences. We incorporated those influences in the Ashiga clan design. For example, kimono-inspired outfits. The Melito, they're blind, so they favor textures and sound over color and light. And you will see that in all of their designs. They've embedded metallic pieces on the floor to feel where they're going. Everything they're using, including their weapons, has these tactile elements.
Beyond these walls, it's war. You want to survive? Know the players.
One of the things that we're incredibly proud of is the reputation system. The choices that you'll make to craft your relationship with each one of the criminal syndicates, ensuring that every story in Star Wars Outlaws is your own.
Here you live and die by your reputation.
The reputation system is really about opening and closing opportunities with these syndicates. This is not about allegiance with one syndicate and staying with it forever. It's about playing the underworld to your benefit.
And how do I know Crimson Dawn won't burn me after I pull this off?
The impact your current reputation with the syndicate will be felt in a lot of different ways. From them giving you little discounts, access to special jobs. They might let you into territory and districts you otherwise wouldn't have access to. On the flip side, if you're not in their good graces, they can actually represent active danger to you. I'm really proud of how we managed to create this enormous breadth of experience.
When players play Star Wars Outlaws, they're stepping into the hive of scum and villainy.
You'll be immersed in a galaxy of opportunity and danger.
You can expect a lot of adventure and thrill. Living that lifestyle of a scoundrel and exploring an open world. I think fans are going to really love it.
Cylops Sabak. You want to race? You sure you want to stick your nose into this shit?
Oh, what'd we get into, buddy?
When you start diving into this Star Wars galaxy, you have so many different options. We crafted the open world in the sense that you have different landmarks, things that can pull you and catch your attention, but also things that you can stumble onto.
In our case, for example, the approach to progression with experts. Where are they? What can they offer me? How do I reach them? And once you reach them, there's an adventure there for you. On your way there, you want things to make you go, oh, what's that?
Throughout the world, there are some hidden or buried treasures that is interesting for Nix. So Nix will alert Kay to these treasures with his cute little squeaking.
Reward curiosity has been a very central tenet for us thinking about the open world. And it ranges from civilians being attacked by pirates to playing sabak.
Sabak is our version of Kessel Sabak. You have to get the lowest match possible with your 2 sabak cards, and then you can bet each round and try and win some money. With Thalia Racing, you can make bets on tables of the holograms of the racers. We have a few different versions of arcade games, a ship shooting one and a speeder one, and they can be played mostly for fun, trying to get a high score. We have contract brokers. They will present you with various different types of contracts. There are contracts where you have to infiltrate certain areas to go in and steal specific items for a syndicate, and then you usually have to make a drop. That's the point. You usually get a choice to betray your employer. You can finish the job as normal and get paid, or you can actually give the item to another syndicate for reputation. But that's going to hurt your current reputation with whoever employed you in the first place. The better your reputation, the better access you have to higher stakes jobs that are going to pay a bit more money, and those are the ones that are reserved for when you have very high reputation.
If you're looking for blaster parts, Lalini can hook you up with something under the table.
So there are lots of different conversations that Kay will overhear. These can be things like passwords into areas, the location of hidden treasures in the world, and also opportunities to further position herself with some of the syndicates.
We landed on a roster of 5 distinct worlds, which are Akiva, Toshara, a brand new creation, Tatooine, of course, the fan favorites, Kijimi, and Canto Bight.
We really wanted to develop something that was fully grounded and had a lot of rich culture and history. And having an open world game really makes sure that you can actually really explore all of those aspects.
Star Wars locations are as biomes, very strong statements, like all of Tatooine is a desert. Kijimi is perpetual night and winter.
On Akiva, it's more the winding jungle roads, it's a little bit more narrow. Toshara is the windswept moon, which is fairly fun because it allows us with the Emberine to create ramps and wall rides.
We wanted all of the locations to provide players something, whether it's about the world, telling something about the lore of Star Wars, or just the world building. We crafted that massive.
So designing the space areas was super fun. So we distinguished there a little bit between regulated space, which is the Empire controlled, which is the black space with stars, and then we have the unregulated, more hidden, kind of more dangerous space.
It's also a place, of course, where different quests and contracts take you. You should fly in close and have a look. You will definitely find precious things that you need to, at the end of the day, make your ship even more capable to explore further.
It's a different type of Star Wars story. Kay is an improviser. She doesn't really go by the books. She wasn't really trained in, the ways of one particular fighting style or anything like that, but she's just using whatever it is that she can in order to survive. And I kind of tried my best to bring that into the music itself. Sometimes I'll use found objects. I'll play real instruments, but intentionally play them the wrong way, like playing a guitar on the wrong side, using the tuning pegs as those strings instead of the actual guitar. These are improvised instruments rather than well-defined, perfected ones.
We did a lot of ambience recording trips, which not only gives us freedom in terms of implementation, but also gives us a lot of this unique source that makes us stand out.
You'll be able to hear the score and also diegetic music sort of react to the story that Kay is undertaking and bring life to those environments.
It's the first open world Star Wars game, and figuring out what that experience is like, I think we landed on something that feels unique from any of the Star Wars games that we've made so far.
The game is loaded with references to Star Wars comics, Star Wars books, but of course all of the films and characters that players love. We really think that players are going to discover many, many, many nods, and they're all intentional.